Hello and welcome to this brief presentation about Bournemouth University's Biological Sciences programme. My name is Dr. Paul Hartley. I'm the programme lead for Biological Sciences. I'll just switch on my laser pointer here. I've got a staff profile that I encourage you to have a quick look at, give you some idea of my background, and hopefully in the next 10-15 minutes I'll take you through some of the key components of the Biological Sciences course and introduce you to the wider community here at Bournemouth. The Biological Sciences degree runs in the Department of Life and Environmental Sciences, and there's some pictures here of some of my esteemed colleagues, all smiling and looking very happy. It's not all of them. We've got about 30 to 40 people who contribute to the teaching, and we've got a whole range, very broad diversity of research topics and interests in the department, and that all comes together really nicely in the Biological Sciences degree. And the next few slides, I'll take you through some of the details. But essentially, what we do is we're interested in our particular fields, of course, and this we use as a sort of mechanism for teaching. So we co-create research with students, and of course, the research that we do informs our teaching. So what I'd like you to do is, if you've got the opportunity, have a look at the Life and Environmental Sciences webpage, the department webpage, and that'll give you a better flavour of the facilities that we've got, as well as the breadth of teaching that we offer. I think it's important to say that your teaching team here at Bournemouth University are all professional biologists. We're active researchers, and the teaching that you would get is all research informed. Like I say, we've got interests right from the very fundamentals of molecular genetics right through to ecology. We publish quite widely, and we do pretty well in terms of our publications. And the research, not only is it part of the teaching that you'll receive, but we want you to start contributing to it. So the 3 to 4 years that you would do at Bournemouth University is a process of not just developing you academically, it's about professionalizing you and sharing our interests and knowledge with you so that you become a professional biologist at the end of this at the end of the teaching process. Your interest in biology is shared with some very notable people, from Charles Darwin to Jane Goodall and David Attenborough, through to the winners of the Nobel Prize recently for their work on the circadian body clock. Now, biological sciences is a very broad degree, and I think that suits a lot of students who don't necessarily have a very clear idea about where they want to end up. They're still making choices, and that's a very common motivation for doing a biological sciences degree, very normal. So the range of topics that we provide in biological sciences at Bournemouth, from ecology right through to molecular genetics, really gives you a very broad experience of biological sciences that we hope will help you make choices about which niche you wish to pursue and which biological topics you wish to pursue in the future. As somebody who studied in Scotland for many, many years, I do look at Bournemouth and think, well, why wouldn't you come here? It's a fantastic part of the country. It's blessed with some of the finest weather in the UK, and it's really in a great location. We've got students doing all sorts of things across Dorset. We've got Poole Harbour, which has got some fine opportunities for sailing. We've got surfable beaches. We've got the Jurassic Coast. We've even got a reasonably good football team. It's also a cultural hub. There's an awful lot of opportunity to get involved in music and arts. There's also an extensive volunteer network should you wish to contribute to the community at large. Biological Sciences degree has a strong emphasis on inclusivity, and we appreciate that starting out at university is a big step forward in life. Our programme emphasises student interaction from the outset and grows to include co-created research as well as peer-assisted learning opportunities. These quotes are from our current first years who enjoyed their induction trip to Kew Gardens. We visited Kew for a couple of years running now, and it's a really lovely day where the sort of fuss of starting term can be put to one side for a few hours, And you can get to know each other through some tasks that we set that encourage you to think about the connections between plant ecology, pharmacology, molecular biology, and society. And this has proven to be a very popular and successful starting point, and something that we as academics very much look forward to at the start of every year. One of the commonest questions I'm asked is, what can I do with a biological sciences degree? My answer is, well, pretty much anything. We keep a very broad mind about the pathways that students can take. There are some fairly obvious pathways, such as pharmacology, biomedical sciences, ecology, environmental sciences. But we've also had students who've had aspirations and taken a pathway forward into medicine. A lot of them take career path into the research and academic research and teaching as well. And of course, now more than ever, we're realizing that biological sciences is a very complex subject that also influences government policy. So there's any number of possible outcomes. It really depends on where you want to go. Bournemouth University is very proud of its graduates. We've had some very notable alumni gaining access to very prestigious and highly competitive graduate programs. For example, the GlaxoSmithKline Graduate Leaders Program. We've had a lot of students who've progressed into MScs and now PhDs, taking their interest in science to the highest levels possible. We've also got a number of students who've entered into forensics and environmental sciences, as well as ecological sciences. There's a whole range of destinations that our graduates end up with. The entry requirements for the degree are posted online and they're briefly summarised in this slide. And although we don't necessarily require biology qualifications, they can be a considerable help to you in your first year of learning. I would also recommend that you check back with entry requirements at regular intervals, as these may change in the future. So, why should you choose Bournemouth University? Well, apart from it being situated in one of the nicest parts of the UK and having a fabulous campus, the university has a strong student-focused ethos. It has a diversity of learning cultures and an extensive network of support. And the staff are, without doubt, some of the most enthusiastic people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Over the past few years, the university has invested extensively in its campus. There are new buildings going up regularly. We've got the fabulous new Pool Gateway building, which you should be able to take a 360-degree tour of, and I recommend that you do that. The biological sciences degree mixes ecology with molecular biology, and this is reflected in the laboratories that we have. We've invested heavily in new teaching laboratories, which have got an extensive array of new equipment. We've also got on our doorstep a natural laboratory, as we like to call it, very close to the New Forest in Hampshire, as well as the Jurassic Coast, which stretches right along the Dorset coastline. And all of these are used for teaching and research purposes. The biological science course is designed to cover a diverse range of topics, from genes to ecology. And we use anything from microorganisms to Drosophila and develop studies on birds right through to human beings. And as I said, we use the laboratories on campus as well as the environment around us. And the whole package that we deliver enables students to find their niche over the 3-year period. So if you get to the nitty-gritty of the course, each year has 5 to 6 units split across 2 semesters, usually 3 units per semester. And each unit offers around about 40 hours of contact time. So that contact time could be anything from direct lectures and seminars through to practical work. It's all led by the academic leads, and we place a strong emphasis on doing practical work as well as academic work. There are opportunities for work experience that are supported by our placements team, and of course there's an optional 30-week placement that you can do between your second and final year. And then, of course, that culminates in what we call the capstone experience of your research-based dissertation. Cohort sizes range from anywhere between fairly small cohorts of 10 or 20 students right through to fairly large cohorts, depending on the units that you choose. I would say that the larger cohorts are slightly unusual. They're not common, and they're fairly much they're limited really to the first year of your studies. Generally, what you'll have is for every unit that you do, there'll be about two assessments. Either these will be coursework assessments or a mixture of coursework and exam. Unfortunately, we do have to assess you. And assessments are going to be based on the studies that you do. And we, like I say, we have a strong emphasis on practical work and getting students to essentially professionalize as researchers and to develop your inquisitive and critical minds. And we do a whole range of different practicals, whether we're studying water fleas or trying to engineer new organisms or looking at the finer points of cardiovascular systems in little creatures. All of this information is collected together and assessed in these assignments and exams that you'll take. As I say, we're not restricted to the laboratories. There's an enormous natural resource on Bournemouth University's doorstep, and those students that sort of gear towards the more ecological and environmental studies in the biological sciences degree get to do all sorts of outdoor activities such as fish tracking and camera trapping. They do marine surveys and grassland surveys over in Purbeck. And there's often opportunities to do forest surveys and freshwater surveys in Dorset as well. I can't stress enough how important it is for students to take opportunities when they can, and we offer a lot of support in terms of developing placement opportunities. We have a team of people who are tirelessly facilitating student interactions with companies and local charities so that they've got the opportunity to get some workplace learning. We've also got an optional international field trip as well, which is very much highly regarded by students. And some of the placement examples that I can quote here, we've got the Medical Research Council at Porton Down. We've had students at the Wish Laboratories in Southampton. We've got the CFAS, the Centre for Environmental Fisheries and Agricultural Science, the Wildlife Trusts, a whole range of different placement providers. Actually, I think we've now got a list of over about 400 placement providers that we've interacted with over the last few years. And students essentially identify places that they'd like to work. There is a lot of knocking on doors and persistence that's required, but it's usually a very, very positive experience and one that's extremely important to the students and your development. As I said before, we're acutely aware of the fact that coming into university can be quite a big step in someone's life. And Bournemouth University, we take that very seriously, and we help you transition to the university education environment through a whole series of initiatives. Initially, we'll set personal goals that will guide you and start you thinking about your particular pathway forward during the degree. You have options that you'll start to elect to take during the second and third year, and we guide you initially with those thoughts. There's a whole range of extracurricular activities, as you'd expect. There's a very active student union, lots of student clubs and societies, and there's volunteering opportunities as well. Transitioning to university life can be a big challenge, and we understand that sometimes you might feel as though things are going wrong. We have a lot of support services available. Often as not, the problems that you face are solvable, and they're relatively easy to solve. They're not uncommon. We've got a whole range of support mechanisms from our team that ask BU for general support, which will guide you to various other services. We've got on-site childcare facilities. We've got careers advice and a My Career Hub for information about placements and your future. We have chaplaincy services and religious services for students. We've got expert subject librarians and a very good and well-stocked library, of course. We've got an on-site police team, campus safety and security events that are often initiated and actually end up being quite good fun. We've got a strong emphasis, of course, on student well-being and student advice that you can tap into at any time you like through the Students' Union. It's important to emphasize the fact that beyond your academic learning responsibilities, there are other opportunities that you really should consider taking. It doesn't matter which university you go to, you're going to be graduating in 3 to 4 years alongside an awful lot of other students. And you've got to really think what's going to make you stand out. And there's any number of opportunities at Bournemouth to help you develop both academically and personally. We have paid peer-assisted learning or PAL sessions that you can become a PAL leader and help the younger years with their academic learning. We've got academic advisors, of course, who are staff members that you can turn to for advice about your teaching and your careers. We've got student rep opportunities, which are extremely important roles within the different cohorts. We've got student champions and we have student development awards. There's a whole range of different opportunities to set yourself apart and take responsibility for other aspects of your future at Bournemouth. So I hope this is giving you some impression of what Bournemouth University and the Biological Sciences course can offer you. I'd say that it's really important for us as well to emphasize the fact that a lot of the teaching that we do is translational. We need you to be scientists. We want you to be biologists. And we also accept the fact that you're going to be going into workplaces where science and biology will just be one of the aspects or one of the key aspects of your employable skill set. We need you to be creative and we offer opportunities to develop that. We want you to be confident as well. You're scientists. You're going to have to develop an ability to become critical and logical thinkers. You need to be methodical and industrious. And these skills are the sort of employer valued skills that will develop and will help you develop over the 3 to 4 years that you're with us. Okay, that just about wraps things up from me. Hopefully, that's given you some flavour of what Bournemouth can offer you and what the biological sciences degree has to offer and what it entails. If you've got any more questions, don't hesitate to contact me by email, which will be available to you via my staff profile, which I put a link to earlier. Of course, we've got the BU website that'll give you the sort of hard facts of the degree as well. So I hope this has been helpful and we hope to be seeing you in the future.